Hello there, YouTube. This is a video of the little potbelly stove. That's what they call them, made out of a propane tank. I'll make a short video here. Before I get started, I'd made a slideshow, and I made this to go down inside. This is junk. It just blocks the air. The idea was to put this in there if I wanted to use wood pellets and wouldn't fall down in the air intake down here in the bottom. Doesn't work. I have 3-inch car exhaust pipe, which the silver 2.5-inch fits inside. That's why I made it big at the bottom. Get a little close-up of my latch here. That's made out of an Allen wrench. And a little hook from a link of chain. Here's a view of the fire in here. I got some maple in here. I'd used some pine boards. It was so smoky and sappy I couldn't stand it out here. This good old maple tree. It's a really good wood to cook on too, on an open fire. You cook burgers over maple wood. Have a good flavor, just like that maple flavored beef jerky. My little air door. There's a hinge on there. Little knob off a little pan lid. There's 3 legs on it. The whole thing sits about 2 feet tall to the top. Tank is 8-inch, but I didn't mention that. Approximately 11 inches tall from here to the top. The top is a 9-inch diameter piece of plate steel, which was cut out with a 4.5-inch grinder with a cutter blade. It took a lot of work to cut that out. If someone could find someone with a plasma cutter, it'd be worth them paying to have that piece cut out. But all the tools I used was the little 80-amp inverter welder, cordless drill, and the 4.5-inch grinder with the sanding flapper disc, the grinder blade, and the cutoff wheels. Here's a picture of the hinges. I could have brazed these on, but I wanted to show that screws will work. Little bevel-headed stove bolts. And on this side, we'll get around here, I put washers about the thickness of the door. It keeps the hinges from binding. It might be hard to see in there. And another thing I would recommend is, I've seen a lot of stoves where the door has a gap around it. The door is cut from the other part of the tank. There's a 1/2-inch difference from the hole to the door. So it overlaps a 1/2 inch. It seals up pretty good. There's a little bit of gap at night. You can see the light, top and the bottom. It seems to be working pretty good. Wood pellets are very hard to light in here, and once they get going, they're gone anyway. It's just a little Nikon Coolpix L22 camera that I use. I do hope I'm getting a better camera this year. The damper piece I showed in the slideshow, those are like a 3/8 inch piece of pipe, which this shoved right in here. This is just a nice chrome eye bolt that I just tapped in there. It's not even welded. And I did show in the slideshow how I used a bolt and a nut to hold that down inside the pipe while I spot welded it. My first attempt with that welder, I'm used to welding with a big arc welder and big metal. The welds are kind of nasty. They've been ground. But that's aluminized, another word people can't say, exhaust pipe, which is not easy to weld. A bit crappy on the welds, but hopefully I'll get used to using that little welder. It's a nice little welder for small stuff. I wouldn't recommend thinking you're going to weld 1/4-inch steel with it, because I've already tried it. Welding top to this. That's mostly spot welded. I didn't want anything to warp, so I just went around every so many inches. I want to get a pretty good informative video on this in case someone wants to make this. I found this tank. The picture got deleted in the slideshow. It was made in 1964. It had black stinky oil in it, which made me think it was off a forklift or something, because engines use propane with an oil additive. It was really black and stinky, so I burned it out in newspaper and wood before I started the project, once the tank was cut open. Handy little door. I used cardboard to make a template for that box that's in the slideshow. This, if you see one, it was a bunch of grapes. That's a urethane plastic. Almost if somebody's my age would remember those knocker things on strings. It was a yellowy color. It was like, looks like a bunch of grapes. Well, I undersized the hole when I drilled it. Start with a small bit. And I heated this up and pushed that on. You have to be careful. I had one of these shoot across the room one time because it builds up heat and gas. But melted that onto there. 120 sandpaper. Paint it with the paint. And the more you use it, the shinier it'll get. If you look at my tractor video, the knobs, shifter knobs and stuff, that's what it's made out of. So if you ever find one of them at a rummage sale or something, buy it and chop it up. You might be able to sell it on eBay. Get another shot of the fire in here. I like making small things. And I guess that's pretty small. A little over inch diameter piece of maple branch. Had to modify up here for the bolts to clear. No big problem. I knew I'd have to do that. That's a part of a link of a piece of chain. So it's already hooked. Just cut it just right like a J. Braised it from the inside, which you'll never see that. Made a nice little hook. I like doing amateur blacksmithing because I use a torch to heat my metal. But that took some doing to bend that, but a person could figure that out. This is welded to the Allen wrench is cut off real short with the elbow, and it's welded to a 1/4 inch carriage bolt with a washer, and it's double nutted, locked, so it stays tight. I think we'll call it good on this video. I think I might have went over on my time. But thank you for watching.